Welcome to Life's Rich Tapestry, a podcast exploring the narrative of people's layered lives. Listen in on courageous conversations spoken from the heart. Gain insight into another's life as we tackle compelling topics which will expand your mind, help you gain perspective, and might even inspire you to do things differently. My name is Evelyn, and I look forward to your company. And welcome to another episode of Life's Rich Tapestry, and welcome to 2022. The brand new year is here, and it's time to welcome 2022 with loads of positivity and enthusiasm. A new year brings with it fresh opportunities, possibilities, and signifies a new start. And while things may not look perfect at the start of the year, considering a hike in daily count of COVID cases, our positive outlook can go a long way in making 2022 a special year for personal growth and development. As we grow more resilient in pandemic times and get ready to withstand the challenges life may throw at us in the coming year, I'm hopeful that things will get better. And this will be the year when we will realize our strengths and embrace our weaknesses. Now, along with the new year comes making resolutions. Now, the Babylonians are said to have started this tradition over 4,000 years ago. I always mess it up. 4,000 years ago. And the New Year's resolutions, they stem from anything from, living healthier, going on a diet, exercising, and the list goes on. But research shows that 80% of people break their resolutions by the first week of February, and only 8% are successful in achieving their goals at all. But all is not lost. I think it's still a good idea to make resolutions. Now, today I'm here with Daniel Lucas, who is from Generation Z, and I'm from Gen X, and we will be discussing 2021, the year that was, our resolutions for 2022, and any life hacks that we have, which have helped us improve our lives and just helped our journeys. So I am just going to welcome Daniel to the show. It's so good to have you here with me today. Now, I just want to talk about how did we get through 2021? Now, here in Australia, in New South Wales, to be exact, we experienced a 4-month lockdown during the pandemic. And for some of us, it was quite difficult. In that some of us lost our jobs. We had to totally do things a totally different way. So I'm just going to talk to Daniel. How was 2021 for you? What did you do differently?
I did quite a few things actually differently to 2020 compared to what I did with 2021. Mm-hmm. Now, I was already acclimatized to these adjustments, and as an introverted, I could acclimatize to it quite easily.
Yeah, that's true.
This way of thinking, but it was a matter of getting my way of thinking outward more than inward, because being stuck inside, it's easier to internalize your thoughts more. You're stuck within this place where you deem comfortable.
Right.
Now, for me, it was getting out. And what I did was I saw more friends. And it was the hard part was taking that first step.
Right. But during the lockdown, it was a bit difficult. We really couldn't do that. We had to do things a lot differently.
I had to do it in simple steps by just doing basic things like walks.
Yeah.
And just going out is whenever I could.
Yeah. No, that's right. I found the lockdown, I was quite productive in a lot of ways. I got a lot of creative projects out of the way. I did some photo books and also you also went to school online, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And how was that for you?
It wasn't good.
You didn't like it? Yeah.
I was doing this cooking class back then, and it was quite difficult, as you imagine, a practical course.
Yeah, how could you even do a practical course online? But they managed okay, didn't they?
They did a good job. I mean, the teachers, a lot of them weren't experts with a lot of the stuff on the computer.
So when the lockdown finished, you were able to catch up with the practical, is that right?
Pretty handily.
Yeah. So during the time of the lockdown, did they just do a lot of theory
They
stuff?
did
then?
a lot of theory, and they wanted us to do some prac, but film it and put it on, which was weird.
Oh, that is
To a lot of individuals,
Yeah.
it was very unheard of.
Oh, it's that is interesting, isn't it? But I guess they're trying to do whatever they could
Yeah.
do during that time. Now, what else has 2021 brought for you besides the lockdown? How do you think you've grown the past year?
Obviously, to not take life for granted, to enjoy the little things we have.
That's for sure, because you just never know. Yeah.
It's with a lot of things, though. Just being more grateful about the roof over your head, the food you have, because many people have it a lot worse than we do.
That's true.
And if you look through history, a lot of things have been a lot worse. And
That's
we
true.
can learn these lessons. Obviously, I'm not trying to denote people's hardships in these times, but if you look at history for the most part, we don't have anything on them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's our world problems, isn't
is.
it? It's so different, really. And I think being locked down in beautiful Blue Mountains, New South Wales, Australia, I don't think it was that much of a hardship at all. But I do know people did lose their jobs during this time, especially because the area that we do live in is mostly hospitality jobs. So that was that. I know that was really difficult for them.
Yes, and the tourism.
Yeah,
business
tourism as well,
has been
right.
really big.
Yeah, it's
Blue Mountains buses.
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
one of them's been running since 1979,
Yeah.
and it's completely halted.
Oh, yeah, that's
Since
right.
1st of April of 2020, it actually
Oh,
stopped.
wow. Okay.
Same
Yeah.
time, Echo Point was closed.
Yeah,
back
that's
then.
so. The major tourist attraction here, Echo Point. Yeah, so it has been difficult. We've been very lucky that we have had the government has helped a lot of people who've been in these situations. But then I know there's people who haven't been helped. But but still, we've gotten a lot of help. Now, one thing that I did during the lockdown, which I think is actually a good life hack as well, is that I made sure I kept the same routine of waking up early. And for me, waking up really early, like, between 4 and 5 in the morning, really helped me to just be quiet and be in a space of, I'd wake up, I'd get a warm glass of water with a slice of lemon. I don't know why, that just really made me feel good. And then I would just do a bit of a thought dumping process in my journal. And then I would also try to meditate. So another thing for me is like no technology in the first few hours of the day. I found that really good. And I did that during the lockdown. And I'm trying to continue to do that now, unless I've got, early morning, ceremony or have to meet with somebody. But I still try to do that now. So it's something I learned I just kind of picked up during the pandemic, is just to stay in the same routine. And what about you? Did you have any sort of routine or anything that you started to do?
It was very productive, to say the least, but a routine, no. Not
Okay.
in the form that we identify with most people in Western culture.
Okay.
With, let's just say, a 9 to 5 routine where they work, they have all these things segmented, like the job,
Yep.
and then their hobbies afterwards. Not in that way.
Okay. Okay.
But I have a lot of passions.
Okay. Great. So you kept up with your passion.
I did.
Yeah.
With a lot of things.
Oh, fantastic. That's excellent. So another thing I wanted to talk about is, do you have any resolutions for this coming up year for 2022?
Just to focus more on myself and understand that there's going to be people better than me in certain areas, and not to denote my intelligence based on that fact.
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? Comparing. And I find it doesn't matter what generation you're from. If you're older or you're younger, I must admit, sometimes I do have that problem, bit of comparisonitis, especially if I spend a little bit too much time on social media, which I must admit I have to do. Well, I don't have to, but I do it for my job. But I find when I spend a bit too much time on social media, I don't know, I just start getting, the green-eyed monster starts coming out, and I don't know, and I just feel very unproductive after the end of it. So, and I'm from Generation X.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Not as much anymore.
You did
Compared to when I was 18, 19. I'm 22 now, for reference, and I've gone through some of these hardships early, I'd say, compared to other people, and I've seen that it's actually at quite a young age that it's not healthy, and I need to just stay so primed and focused and understand that a lot of these external things that we're at the forefront of thinking of too much don't really matter towards the goals what we dream to get, our desires.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's
just
really
think
good.
about the attention output when you have these external things that don't matter. How much of your thoughts are they consuming from doing these things that you truly love and want to get better at?
Yeah, it's so true. I do. I just get so wrapped up, and it's interesting. I mean, I'm in my 50s, and you would think that I would have grown out of this, but it's funny how social media can really just
Definitely.
drag you in.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not a teenage person type of an issue. I find it can be an issue with me. So what I am doing this year, I'm trying to have a bit of a not a social media detox. I'm trying to have just a particular time where I go on social media, I do my stuff that I have to do my posting, maybe just look through my feed, but really put a time limit on it. And then, even set the egg timer, because I've got to set a timer, because I really will, you lose track of time.
Yeah, you do.
You lose track of time. So, so that is one thing I am definitely going to work on, is more of a social media detox, but also still continue using it for my business. Another thing I'm also going to work on this year is try not to take anything personal. I tend to do that sometimes, and I don't like it. Like if I'm not contacted, in an adequate time. Like if, for instance, for some of you out there who might know me, I know that I am a celebrant. So I might, or officiant, depending on what part of the world you're in. So sometimes I'll write up a ceremony and I'll send it off to a family or to couples. And if I don't hear from them in an adequate period of time, I'll just automatically think that they hate it. So I really need to just get over that and just realize people, they have other things on their agenda and on their schedule. So not to take things personally if they take a little bit longer, and not take things personally if they say, you know what, we don't want that in the ceremony. That doesn't reflect who we are. That's fine. And not take offense to that. So that's what I'm going to do as well. So Daniel, what are you doing for 2022?
I will be more focused, prime focused, less external external focus on things that don't matter, as I said before. And obviously I'm exercising more now.
Right. And are you doing anything with the exercise?
I'm going to the gym.
Excellent. And so you've joined already, and how there is probably really good social environment, and people who are there like what you like. So that's good. So people like-minded?
Yes. And I want to say this to whoever's listening right now. It's good to work out. And a lot of people, in my opinion, they don't work out because they feel like, maybe these jocks were dumbasses, and you're not an idiot for working out. It's actually intelligent to work out. You don't have to be a bodybuilder or anything. It's just good. It actually helps for a lot of things. It helps with your thinking. You're more prime focused for a longer period of time compared to if you don't exercise. Yeah. If you look at a lot of these successful people, a lot of them go for runs in the morning and do exercise, and they're not bodybuilders.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to these people, you don't have to be a big sag of meat to, to work out. You don't need to. It's good just to get up and go, get your heart going.
Get your heart going. Yep. No, that's good. Also, with me, I must admit I'm not as physically focused as Daniel, but I do need to keep a bit fit. So I do walk. I like to walk in nature, and especially in the Blue Mountains. It's beautiful to walk in nature and just be quiet, not even have my headphones on with music, and just be quiet, listen, enjoy the sounds of the birds. I actually really do enjoy that. So light exercise for me is good, and joining groups like Daniel was saying. And I love the groups that I'm in as well. I'm a really big Toastmaster public speaking group. So I love that, being around people, like-minded people, as well. So, actually, thing I just want to wrap up on, is I want to talk about life hacks. If I did speak about one earlier, my life hack for me, and I found it works really well, it's just waking up early. I find that works really, really well for me. And just keep a routine like that. Do you have any life hacks?
mitigate how much time you spend on technology.
Yeah.
Less time on technology and more time towards things that matter towards you and towards you, what you want to do.
Right.
That pertain to your journey. Which also transposes to the less external distraction theory, as I said before. It coincides with each other.
Yeah.
You have more time to yourself. You have more time to do great in life, become a legend, if you will.
Yeah.
If you just keep focused, because you'd be so primed and focused, you have no time to compare with other people that don't even know you.
That's
right. Or you don't even know them.
That's right. I find that is a problem. It is. You compare your lives with people you don't even know, and it's really quite silly,
Definitely,
isn't it? It's really, really quite silly. Another thing that I have done is I've my life hack the last 2 years is I've been very very considered in keeping a journal and writing in it every single day. So that's really a life hack for me. That's really, really helped me. And of course, the water I think is important. No computer, no screens, actually no screens. Now this I find is interesting because I do not want any screens before bedtime. I don't want a computer. I don't want my telephone. I just want to read a book and go to sleep. However, I know I was discussing this with you before, Daniel. You were saying the opposite. So for me, computer screens, technology, if I have that too close to bedtime, I cannot go to sleep at all. I need to read a book. That puts me to sleep. But it's opposite for Daniel. And I wonder if this is a generation thing. Now, you tell me what you said to me the other day.
I think it's an individual thing that coincides with my diagnosis, if you guys don't know already, autism. But it can be anyone. Now, when I'm reading a book, and say there's no image or novels, and the typography is quite light, and it gets you really to focus, and you don't have any images to get a basis of how the world is.
Yep.
I will go deep pondering, delving into that world, and I'll keep imagining how this world looks and how the character looks and how it all coincides with each other and how it all fits into one universal world, kind of pertaining to the real world in itself, and using other elementations of my abstract thinking to help concoct these different ideas together. And that keeps me awake. Whereas when I'm looking at an iPad on the computer, I get what I get. I'm satisfied with the images. So it's a easier understanding for me.
Wow. I just love that. That is so, I automatically thought that everyone would think the way I thought. But for Daniel, he's totally opposite. So for me, like I said, putting me to sleep is reading a book at night. But for him, he's happy looking at a computer screen because I've always thought that wasn't good for children. So anyways.
Well, it's what people do with it because a lot of people, they're looking at it for the wrong reasons. If you're educating yourself, if you're using the internet and all these things for the right things, then that's good. But the problem is a lot of people get addicted to this and then they're missing out on real world things.
That's right.
Even if it's good or bad things that you're doing. So let's say even if you're studying all the time on technology, it's still bad because it's bad for your eyes and you're missing out on things. But obviously studying on your iPad or iPhone is better than playing video games that whole time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very, very true. So I think this has been a really enlightening show. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, for those listening out there, I would love any sort of input, or maybe you can share with me an idea. What is your life hack? I'd love for you to share what is your life hack that has helped you to move along in your life, to make things easier for you. I know there's a lot more life hacks, but for me, like I said, waking up early, drinking water, exercising, stretching, whatever you need to do, meditating, no computer screens until a certain time, and having a social media diet. And I know I need to do that. I need to really work on that this year, and I will be working on those things next year. So it's been great having you on the show, Daniel. Did you have anything else you wanted to share, or?
Obviously, I just been easy on yourself because you're not going to get things right away. It's going to be a struggle, and that there are going to be people ahead of you in certain areas, but don't use that to denote yourself as a whole, because I feel like we get this overworld view of ourselves if we can't do certain things and we want to be like a person, they can do this thing better than us. Yeah. And that gets a bird's eye view of us as a whole individual and our intelligence. Yeah. So just to remember that there's many different types of intelligence and individuals, and some types of people who feel like they're dumb, they're true intelligence hasn't been discovered yet.
That's true. And it takes a while. It doesn't mean anything like where
If you
you're
did
at
bad
high
at school,
Exactly.
if you got a D or F.
Yes, grades just do not matter at all, really. So, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. And,
Cheers.
thanks again, everyone. And look forward to your company next week. Thank you so much for your company. Please tune in next week to Life's Rich Tapestry, where you will hear another courageous conversation spoken from the heart.